Man, we got a lot of hungry guys who are wanting to show their ability, at a little higher level of I guess, baseball, being in the Southeastern Conference. They're excited. They're hungry. And, man, they want to work.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the guys you brought in as starting pitcher. 2 guys from Stanford, Aoki, I know from Southern Cal. Those are 3 off the top of my head. What is about each one of those that you like, what you're kind of working on them with right now, and kind of where they can eventually be, in your opinion?
Yeah, no, I mean, all those guys are very, very talented. You start with a guy like Joey Vochko, for example, from Stanford.
Yeah.
Joey's on a little slower ramp up. We've done a lot with his body. I didn't let him start throwing while we were changing some stuff with his body. So Joey will start to throw probably towards the middle of the fall in games. Matt is getting back to the form he was. He's his sophomore year, he was really had really good stuff. We're seeing glimpses of it. It's coming back. You wish you had the crystal ball to know how fast it would get here. Hopefully not. But then you got Caden. Caden's just, guys, when you come watch Caden throw bullpens, it's like watching Greg Maddux. I mean, just his spot.
Praise.
Well,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So when you look at Caden, and gosh, he's a professional. He studies the game. He's watching hitters. He's reading everything they do. And then I gotta tell you, the one that's really been impressive so far is Dylan Vigue from Michigan.
Yeah, but that's got him next.
Very, very, very impressive young man's going to throw today. Not that the others aren't.
Yeah.
Just piggybacking on those that you talked about from the transfer portal. But no, Dylan's throwing the ball exceptionally well. Really excited about him as well.
I mean, he's got a guy too you can use. I was thinking a number of different roles. That's why I know you like a lot about the pitchers you tend to bring in here. Yeah,
all of these guys can be used in a lot of different roles. We did a little small stuff yesterday, some hitter pitcher stuff, and we got a young man, Teddy Brennan from lefty out of the portal. Teddy's going to be really good against left-handers. Not that he's not going to pitch some against right-handers. He's got a really good changeup, but I'll tell you what, yesterday that slider was really good. And you saw now being able to have a potential weapon that's left-handed out of the pen for the first time since I've been here. So that's going to be nice.
That was that's hard to work around that, isn't it, as a coach, when you don't have those left-handed guys that come in certain situations in games.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we definitely bolstered our left-handed look. Bradley Stewart's getting really, really close. He's just through his last. He'll actually pitch a week from today in the game for the first time.
Okay.
He's looked really good. His velocity's been really high and looked really good. We got another left-hander going today, and Caleb Jameson. Really excited about him as well. Just being able to have those options out of the pen. Andrew Binky. Now, Andrew had a little setback. He had his appendix out.
Yeah.
A week ago.
Yeah.
I think. So Andrew, was doing really well before his appendix went out.
One more thing, and I'll hop off the train here for a little bit. Getting back to Dylan, he's like a 5-pitch guy, isn't he? Doesn't he have several?
Yeah, he's got a really good 2-seam.
Yeah.
And then he can throw. It's really not a 4, but it kind of is off of his mix, and he's got a slider, cutter, changeup.
Okay.
Really, the slider is an elite pitch at this level. Had some of the highest swing and miss numbers versus right-handers that I've seen in a long time when we started looking at players this summer. But he's a 5-pitch guy. He's going to be a lot of fun.
What do you use just these first couple official practices? What are your focuses during them?
Just get our guys back out to getting back into that flow. We're banged up a little bit right now positionally, just with a lot of little stuff that had carried over from last season into the summer. And once again, you look at our team last year, and we weren't healthy really going into that regional in the position standpoint. And so, it's kind of like I've told Coach Coggin and Coach Amorati, Coach Bennett, like, guys, from the position player standpoint, like, we're not going to push guys in the fall. If they need a little time, we're going to give it to them. We got an older team. Don't get me wrong, at-bats are important, but giving a guy like Jordy 10 more at-bats this fall because he got clipped in the hand and it's a little sore, it's not doing him any good. He doesn't need those 10 at-bats to, I'd rather get his hand where it needs to be, and so just to use an example.
And then going back to Caden, you mentioned the Gregmatics. He said he does want to get that velocity up a little bit. How do you balance that with making sure he's still hitting his spots?
Oh, we work a lot. We work really hard on that. Like, matter of fact, as soon as we finish here, that's who I'll be working with is Caden. We've already seen a little tick up in his velocity, and we haven't seen any sacrifice in command. But we still got another 2 miles an hour. It's kind of our goal to get there too. And I don't think Caden's got you come across guys in your career who were something we call elite hand feel. Caden fits in that group of, in my time of doing this at the collegiate level, maybe we've only had, 3, 4, 5 of those guys in my whole time, and he's in that category. So you don't worry about strikes with him too much. I think the hand feel he has, he'll be just fine.
Mentioned a lot of the new transfers, especially a lot of them being in the top 100 players in the portal. One you didn't mention, however, is Bryce Callaway. Can you tell me a little bit about him and what you're kind of looking for as a two-way guy and what you bring to the table?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, Bryce is obviously really good. I did not leave him out. We got a lot of good players. Bryce is really, really good offensively. Yesterday in our little deal, he hit a homer off of a really good sinker down the middle. I think the biggest thing, Bryce, even though he's been labeled a two-way guy, he's never been through the two-way workouts that we do. We put a little more emphasis right now on trying to get his arm ready for pitching. And once again, a guy who's got a lot of at-bats under his belt in collegiate baseball. So we've worked really hard on pitching, but he's got the potential to literally, like, true two-way players anymore, they're hard. We got 2 of them. We got him and Kenny Ishikawa, and they both really have a chance to throw meaningful innings for us and hit, somewhere in the, top half of our lineup if they continue to progress.
Now, you're always big on lineup length. That's what every coach wants. I mean, just from that standpoint, how's that looking right now early on?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dash, I think we're going to have a little more length. We'll have, it's paper, right? It doesn't matter. They got to come do it. But we'll have probably the most flexibility we've had since I've been here. And with the potential, obviously, to have the most length. Obviously, you go back to 24 and, Charlie and Corey, we were so top heavy. And then last year I thought we did get our length a little better, but when we just didn't have the depth we needed for that length. So when Zabo and Robbie or, some guys would go down, and boy, you really saw it. You really saw that hole. And I think we've put together, at least on paper right now, going into day one, the ability to not have as big of a drop-off if something happens.
I do want to ask, your third year as the head coach, the last 2 years you brought in a ton of transfers. Is that kind of how you saw it when you first took this job? Did you kind of see it going that way? I know some people look at all the transfers and some people are going to criticize you for that, not keeping more freshmen, that kind of thing. I think you have said before that in baseball anyway, it's not really that big of a deal as far as, teams changing like that.
I think, I don't know who your favorite big league club is, right?
Yeah.
Whoever that is. You will just look at the Yankees. I was watching that game last night. It was on Fox, and I'm going around the field, and I go, okay, they got Goldsmith last year, Jazz Chisholm. You just keep going around, and all these guys have just been there for a year. So are the Yankees not supposed to go get those guys and just bring up their guys in AAA and just go, well, look, we developed from within, and yeah, we didn't make the playoffs and we didn't win, but we were developing within. And that's not how Aaron Boone's going to keep his job. That's not how Brian Cashman is going to keep his job as the general manager of the Yankees. So I love our freshmen. I think this will be the class that we have in here now will play more than any freshman class. Obviously, I've had since I've been here, and they have the ability to, at least, right? They got to go do it. With that being said, you want freshmen, you want them in your program, but you find in our game, especially in Southeastern Conference play, the league is so old that 22, 23-year-old pitcher out there who's throwing 95 and is commanding a slider that the 17 to 18, 19-year-old hasn't seen, it gets beat a lot in our league, meaning the hitter. Vice versa, in the same way with the pitcher, right? The 18-year-old pitcher who can't command it, and you got a 23-year-old who's seen every slider he's ever going to see. You're not going to fool him with a pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to locate and do some different things. And I think that's what you're seeing now in our league across the board.
I know